People. This is Paul. I was not sure if there was a meeting tonight, so I double checked. I checked in, and obviously there's not. Uh, so I'm going to share a quick statement, which I would have shared had we met tonight, because I feel it's of urgency and my duty to inform this body. So, first of all, we've been hearing a familiar term, golden age of America. I will say this about age that is significant to us as we discover our provenance to walk in and fulfill it fully and duly authorized. The heir, we the people being the heir, are of full age, and that is the place we are taking, the heirs of full age. So taking is even a strong word because it is true, but in a more delicate way would be to peaceably and rightfully assume our rightful place. So, and that is also called taking responsibility. It's a conference of authority from one to the other, a handing down, a passing on, see, of the baton, the authority from father to son, but at full age. So we are at the heir is full age. That is you and I. So we see this golden age, and I would encourage everybody to look into the origin of the statement because it comes from Greek and is relative to Greek mythology. And of course, we know the nature of those with whom we have to do are into that mythology. So their ilk, a Knight of Malta, is telling us his plan for a golden age for America. The Great Settlement, you see, is underway. The world powers, as presumed conquerors, victors, are dividing up amongst themselves the spoils. And what you'll see is a commonality of Trump's words that is claiming the West. When was America great? Anybody ever heard of great America? This has never been. That it would be a new thing, right? So, and also he says America first. It isn't America first. America is last. We are first, right? Us, the United States of America. So America is our last name. Anyway, there as the victors dividing up the spoils. You've heard of Trump squeezing Canada to join our union, squeezing Greenland to join our union, changing its title, the Gulf of Mexico, the Panama Canal, and other things, down to a certain point in South America. So it appears that Latin America well, they're looking at a great America, okay? And make America great again. What is that? When it was first discovered? It was great before us. When was the golden age, people? This is interesting because it goes from gold, which is the first. See, tells you who these people think they are and who they may well be. We should take their words at face value. What do they say, right, about themselves? Who do they say that they are? Who do men say that I am? Who do you say that I am? And who do I say that I am? To each his own, and now is the time, see? The great divvying up, the great settlement. This is a phrase that was said today in light of the golden age of America. The reckoning has commenced. Which is why I say the great settlement is underway, people. So we see the West being claimed, essentially, as America, great America. And if you have seen, I've taken a picture, I don't have it here. Oh, well, I could search for it. Um, of the rest of the world in these same negotiations. See, this country gets that, and this one returns to that border, and this one's added to that, and this. That's what they're doing. I have the list. I'll dig it up, um, or you can Google it because I just saw it on one of my feeds. Y'all must be searching for something. The point of this, see, render to God the things of God, and the other to the other. See, if they are dividing up the spoils, it is to each his own. What is rightfully belonging to each one? That is the divvying up, the settlement, and the reckoning. And guess what? They have looked right past us, haven't they? Because we are not at that table, it does not appear. What does appear, and it is my duty to inform you, by the way, when it comes to each his own and rendering to God the things of God and the other to the other, my question here for you seekers of the truth who are watching and vigilant to know what time it is, whose image is on the coin? Right? Do you remember who said that? Whose image is on the coin? Caesar. So render to God the things of God, and to the other the other. It is to each his own, and now is the reckoning. And it's taking place without us being represented at the table. We are not even presenting ourselves, which is the problem. You think the powers that be don't know that we're not there? How is that? Otherwise, that they are looking past us and playing with our inheritance as if though it's just, cheese on a cheese board. So it is my duty to inform this body who opens every meeting saying, come to order, that we are entirely out of order. The powers that be and all those watching us are content because they know we are out of order and they know why. And this is the very reason they are looking past us, because there are none in this great settlement now taking place and underway. There are none withstanding, objecting. They are looking right past us, and there is none standing in our place, objecting. We are standing in our place, and we're out of order, which means it's noise, it's a child's play, and they're ignoring it. The reason they are looking past a group that is out of order is what makes it out of order, and how they know. Because they are a group in league with Anna von Reitz. Now, this delusion is stripped from them, all of them. Now, we have come to the fork in the road, people, the day of choosing to stand on our foundation and solid rock or sinking sand. We are at the fork of the road in the time and place of choosing, the place of decision. On our right is legitimacy, authenticity, right itself, originality, bona fide, de jure, in effect, the real thing, which is no thing but the composing and assembling, through assembling, a living body, the living body of the heir of full age, the administrative body elect of the greater body, by the greater body, for to serve the greater body. And the elder served the younger, of course. And this body is an heir. It has an inheritance, a will, a testamentary trust, and a generational endowment. By God Almighty, the Most High, possessor of heaven and earth himself. This is on our right, people. This is our right. And there is the other way, the other path, having no claim in our estate, building a new thing that did not exist before and is no way tied to our providence. Has its own providence, maybe looked it up. When did it exist? Who created it and when? That's its provenance. What's it called? What's its backstory? Its origin story? The whole deal. See? We have one. It's called our provenance. And we're in possession of it in full. It's part of our inheritance. What does she call hers? What does she call it? The thing that she is building. What is she building? Two things? Because that's not possible. Hers and ours. And who is she? AVR and crew, which is the Federation. Even just the last day or so, she's given definition to that Federation, which illustrates a clear picture for us, because as she says, there's nobody in the Federation below the age of 68. So that eliminates most of the coordinators, right? I'm aware of. So, and they are also not as in league with her and followers of her and working for her and doing her bidding and made themselves agents of TASA, the thing Anna's building. You can't hold two positions for two different things. There's our thing, the real thing, with our provenances, which are not new and are easily discoverable. In fact, they were prepared specifically as our inheritance for the future generations. That's what it says. And our future generations are now, and this generation needs to know it, because the powers of the earth are already dividing up our land. We've been in a 5-year cycle of building this thing, and this is where we're at. We're not even at the table because of who you've trusted. And that is all by design. So it is clear what she is building. It's called the American States Assembly, TASA. And that is the fiduciary for, as you will find, the underwriter, TUSA. TUSA. The very name, title, and style of our Confederacy. Well, all the time she's talking about the Federation. So, the Federation, TASA, Anna and crew, nobody less than 68, so it's none of her coordinators. And they are not members of the Assembly because they are working for her thing, TASA. So they are out in the middle and out in the cold, and they've never even examined their state. Because again, they follow Anna, so they don't ask questions. And they do not look into our source, which is the actual foundational documents prepared for us to have a record. Because again, they trust Anna and they focus on what Anna tells them to. So now we see a commonality between MAGA and TASA. They're both missing us. Make America great again. America first. No, United States is first. America was never great, and neither was the United States. The only one calling herself great is Great Britain. And her is a great nation and out of a company of nations. So the last to come would be the company of nations, who also became the first, the birthright. So they get it all. So a peculiar people founded a nation, and a great nation, and a company of nations, multitude of nations, an assembly of nations. And the peculiar thing about this people that founded this peculiar holy nation and royal priesthood, they're kings. They're kings, all. See? Because of their faith in the gospel. Our government was founded on the gospel, people, not the Christian religion. Because the gospel is a will, a covenant between God and man, and the new, that is present, that is the last, meaning most recent, and the one in full force and effect. This is the trust. This is our endowment. This is our inheritance. We hold these truths. It has all been done for us. There's nothing new under the sun. We need to occupy our, not hers. And the two are not the one. And there's never been, that I know, any discussion of sunsetting all of her terms, words, phrases, because the more it goes, the more every single thing of her is intertwined and embedded to the point where her words are in your mouth. And you're talking gibberish while your brain's trying to make sense of her words coming out of your mouth. I'll give you one example. We don't vote. That's what I've heard the leader in New Hampshire, so-called, I don't recognize any such nonsense. That's part of Anna's thing. I heard we don't vote. And then a bunch of other weirdness that trying to make sense of that and figure out the term we use and what makes us different and who told me that and where'd that come from. But yeah, seriously, people, we vote. Guess what? We vote. You don't have to fear it. We vote. You know how I know? Because it's in our books. This is how we built our government. This is the offices we first filled. We filled them by voting. We elect by voting. That's how it works. But you'd rather say, I don't vote, we don't vote, we blah, blah, do this and blah, blah, do that. Well, it's not true. Who told you that? The one that's mocking you and keeping you from showing up at the table when it counts. I called breach 4 years ago, January 6th. You can go back to the archives. I believe we had a meeting that very day. So it is noted and it's on record. Every man's response, because that went nationwide to every single state. A notice of breach. Wolf. I cried wolf because with cause. But there again, my words are not honored. People look up and look down and think there's nothing to hear here. Some guy making noise. What's that to us? We follow Anna. She told us to focus on what we're focused on. And that's all that matters. So she's defining her thing called the Federation, and it's an imaginary group with a bunch of senior citizens above the age of 68, and one's called Bubba, and one's called James, I guess. He's the hereditary head of state. That's her fable, her origin story for her thing that she's building, TASA. Got a hereditary head of state, her husband. Fortuitous of her. For her, yeah. We don't vote. We vote, people. We elect by voting. It's right in our books. I could show you. It's always been there. But we are not looking there. The only place we should look, wonder why? Because somebody's telling us to look somewhere else and trust them. And they're handing down documents and manuals and forms and words and terms that are nothing to do with us and are not in our provenance. So if you think you're ready to go up against this state actor who knows every one of these facts better than any of us, they created the upside down illusion, just like the illusion of somebody outside our perpetual union ever possibly having standing to give themselves standing. We vote, people, by it. We vote. We elect by vote. I heard on the last call she can shut us down. She can dissolve our assembly. Nobody objected. I didn't, just to let it be on the record that nobody objected. You're all good with that. The most outrageous, insane, false, retarded thing I've ever heard. She can shut us down. Who is she? She is not in our union, therefore has no standing to touch our union. You've allowed her to use the name of our perpetual union under guise of semantic deceit of a federation, which you have all been content to let the disclosure be as simple as Anna and crew. I've asked everyone I could find at different times, what is the Federation? And the pathetic answer, which goes to, it's on the record. I didn't make it up. It's the words of those who were asked. And it's coordinator level, right? As well as anybody else commenting and things I'm looking at. But it's common. It's Anna and crew, and everybody's content with that. Now she's illustrating that a little bit more. Now we're picturing several rooms with a bunch of these senior citizens in different rooms. One, you got the King James, and Bubba. King James and Bubba, they're over there in one room. And the youngster, Anagram, is 68, and she's still looking for her peer. Yeah, and then they're grooming some. You walk into another room and there's a whole different energy because it's some young people they're grooming up. Yeah, so they want you to picture this. Oh yeah, it's a federation, just like a capital. Two or three rooms, walk back and forth. It's all business taking place every day, people. Oh yeah, they're really. The funny thing is, the last article, you look at the properties of the article, the author says Paul Stramer. Wouldn't that be interesting? Her picture actually looks like Gollum anyway, but I'm not going to get into the gutter. I see a commonality between TASA, which does not account for us, the United States, and MEGA, which does not account for us, the United States. And I see them changing a union, adding states. Where's us, people? Okay? I know where we are. I know exactly where we are. That's why I took action. But you can't say I didn't give this body 4 years. And to prove to the edge of hell that if it was left to you, you would let it go over and our time would pass to even come to the table. That's why I act in the necessity and in the right. That is duty, and that should be all of our mission. So we found this pattern. It's worth looking into in light of what is taking place under our nose and without our awareness, oblivious, because we're always led to focus on something else at very key moments. I sound the alarm and nobody listens. I try to speak up and they tell me I'm raising my voice. I honestly can't stand her terminology, people. I mean, I came out of a church where I ministered for 20 years faithfully, thinking I was doing the right thing, and I was, because I was teaching God's people the truth that God had shown me from the heart to their heart. And my heart is to connect God with his people. By now, we all ought to be teachers. And literally, this body has need to be taught the elementary and first principles. Because you have listened to another, she cannot shut us down. She can only shut her thing down. TASA. That's words, letters. And when she's taken them, we still have them anyway. Because she has nothing. She can demote her coordinator, her agent in place. That is it. She can recall that one. But what is that? A title? That would be the best thing because then that one would be on his county again. An undivided commitment. She insists capital T, the, is part of the name, the commonality of all her franchise members, assemblies in a loose league, a federation, but a loose league. I do not know that anybody signed anything to join her thing. But has anybody looked into capital T, the, being part of our title of our state and our perpetual union? I found it in the, well, I haven't found that yet. I keep finding the little t, capital S, state of New Hampshire. So is it true of us or not? This "the" is part of the title, assembly of, and that is a thing that never existed before. So it's a new thing, and there's nothing new under the sun. So it has its provenance, and it is not tied to ours, people. This is so elementary that the point of order is come to order, and that we are completely out of order because we're not on our foundation discovering and walking in our provenances. And we're not moving towards that because we're becoming more ingrained, embedded, her thing, which has to be separated. We're at the point of separation, and that's where we're at. So if anybody knows among us, because you've researched after 5 years, some basics, what's true and not, because you've looked into it, these are the things we need to be discussing. As for Anna, she stands impeached. A trial, which I am fully willing, that would lay out all the evidence, and it is overwhelming. I mentioned 4 or 5 things. Each one is fatal, exposing her naked in her works. But I tell you, a trial that lays out the evidence in a presentation, orderly presentation of irrefutable facts that are already done on the record standing. We got over 5,000 articles thereabouts of her own writing claiming. We've got several weeks or months long dialogue directly between myself and her last winter, which you are not privy to, which got me the information I needed. Because if I ask as an adult and an interested party, I'm here. You got somebody claiming they got some say over my birthright, my inheritance. Well, they're going to give account to me. And if they're an adult claiming to be a fiduciary, they better expect to give an honest and direct report, an account, a reckoning. So if I ask one in that position and is able to clearly give an answer to a question, and that question is not answered but obfuscated after a while, I give sufficient time and I decide it's enough. So that is the answer. She's not willing to answer, which is irrelevant because her answer is yes. Her yes is yes, and it stands. And her full volume of her works is available, searchable. She's even got a little false gospel, words in red, proving she knows the truth but holds it in unrighteousness and has been conveyed it, not having it revealed by the Father, but the other way. They hold the truth in unrighteousness. She's the one self-professed, self-disclosed servant of Francis, and not only Francis, but His Holiness. That's her words. She attributed holiness to Francis and declared her service as a private attorney in service to him. I asked the coordinator about this because I had done the research and had not been able to find any evidence that she recanted that or renounced it. Though I had found evidence of her renouncing other things, specifically, but not specifically this. So I think the other is tricks. I already did that. You and point you to this and that and this and that. Well, yeah, that's all true, but that's not what we're talking about. Talking about this one thing, and I have not found that she's renounced it. And ask directly and obfuscate. That's all I need to know. I offered. Why don't you just take an oath? What's the harm in taking an oath? If you're a fiduciary, oh, all of a sudden she thought, brushed the guy off. Who is he? I don't answer him. I don't work for him. Blah, blah, blah. Well, it didn't take long before you say, look, I'm a responsible party of full age. You claim to be monkeying with my birthright, my inheritance as a fiduciary, which does carry trust responsibility. And I'm standing here asking you a direct question. And if you don't answer, then you are without authority on its face. Yeah. She stands impeached. She's been notified, as well the powers that be. She does not work for us and is not authorized and is without standing to act or speak on behalf of and use the style, copyright, trademark of our Confederacy or any other assets of our perpetual union. That is where she stands. Out. And it's where she has been. I just disavowed her of the illusion. I did not take anything from her, any more than she could take anything from us. By craft. All she lost was the power of her craft. But we are going to walk in truth, and we're going to walk on our foundation as it is written, as it is done and prepared and provided for us beforehand. Not laying again foundations, because no foundation can any man lay than that which is laid. She's laying foundations. TASA, a new thing. And all the other bullshit that Anna von Wright teaches about her thing is her thing. And our thing is not a thing. It's alive. And it is a trust. And it is the heavenly gift that is not left to the children, but to hirelings and servants, guardians and tutors, until the heir is full age. I'm full age. I'm in comprehension of these truths. I'm the only one in this assembly that I see that sees her for what she is. So now she can face what she is. I gave her so many opportunities to do a gracious sunsetting and moving into our provenance. It's not what she's here for, people. She's here to do what she's doing, which is keep us running around the mountain for 40 years while her boss and his pals steal our estate. Obviously, nothing's going to happen contrary to what it is written, but it is for this time and place. It's such a time as this, people, that the Father, the Master, has need of laborers. We are under siege, under assault. We're surrounded. The wolves are at the gate. We're being invaded, for crying out loud. Everyone has their eye on the prize, and it is us. The one on earth which claimed its foundation on the gospel. And first and chiefest of these 13, here's our honor, people, my brothers and sisters of the New Hampshire Assembly and the Assembly of New Hampshire. Our honor is that we are first in the nation, first in the world. We are the elder. Of our 13 people, we are the elder. It's 1 plus 12. See? After the perfect pattern. Now, if we have a trial of impeachment, which would not be, I mean, she stands naked now. We can get as ugly as we want, people. But I have no desire to disgrace anyone. I mean, those who have made the truth inconvenient to themselves have done that themselves. It was their free choice when they had the choice to do otherwise. So, stands what she's done and why and how and with who and for who. It's all out. It's all out. And she knows it. The point is, she's out. Our focus should be one thing, that is our restoring our original and lawful government. And we have the blueprints, we have the path and the way. It was carefully recorded for us and compiled for us as itself an official act for to be handed down for us, the heirs, for just such a time as this, even though the treasure that it is should have been our education, probably the only necessary schooling we should have had, which of course they deprived us completely of. So God, I tell you, is merciful. I know this, if we were to have a presentation of the facts, which I would easily prepare and lay out, it would leave you aghast, all aghast, for what you fell for. Every bit of it is offensive to me, so I don't know how it's all gotten past you. But it's over. If you want to join her thing, you can stay with her and do her thing, but she's without use of our provenances. So she's left with hers. And of course, that's total make-believe, doing nothing, but international public notices to her followers. The members of her club, following her. This make-believe thing she's doing, which nobody's paying attention to. The powers that be are just steamrolling over and right past one time after time after time. All this huffing and puffing, oh yeah, you think that's in your name? It's mockery because it's out of order. It's sick. It's sick. It's absolutely perverse. It is. I am sure they get some laughing stock over there. What mockery she has made of a holy thing. That is one who called Francis holy, thinking she could put her hand to the holy. She's not. She won't. She can't. She's finished. She is out. She can speak for herself and her thing. She will not be speaking for our perpetual union. And no one can kick me out of that. People, it's in me by right of birth and in the necessity. You know not what manner of spirit ye are of. We are equals in this body. Any who could think to see themselves higher has already proved themselves unworthy of any trust. That's the temptation to authority, people. Immediately let it start going to your head and see yourself as in any way above the least of these, our brethren. That is the oldest trick in the book, and it is obvious when people fall for it, because all of a sudden they don't need you, and words are not important. That is dishonoring the Son. That God is merciful. He loves this body. This is his body, people. In your and my organic, original first estate, we come and we assemble in his name. And he is present, and there is the body sovereign. And then we make agreement, and it is done. Because we are kings and priests unto our God. You see, the full gospel, also called this gospel of the kingdom. We are in possession, people, and our priesthood is after the order of Melchizedek. I tell you, the things the Father has entrusted to us, people, if you can accept a gift in Paul, who is little and small, a gift from God to this body, if any can show the least honor, maybe humble themselves to be able to accept the greatest gift ever offered to man. And for this time and place, and for the greatest cause ever known to man. You have been lulled to sleep, bewitched, deceived, and we are out of order, 1000%. Except for we, people of New Hampshire. We are the real thing. We ourselves, our assembly, is one of the 13 and the first and chiefest of these, the elder. We do not need outsiders. We are the authority, people. That's what our books tell us, our manuals. And all the other manuals have you looking other things. So you never are able to walk in truth. You walk in what you were told, which is lambs to the slaughter when you go marching up to that militarized beast that is waiting for sovereign citizens, which is anybody who does not comply. Anybody who utters a few syllables along the lines of the things which we are talking about and are standing upon, they are the truth. You do not want to send that letter full of Anna's toxic nonsense and her circular semantic that goes nowhere except to prove the one speaking it is a retard. And as spoken to authority, should be laughed out of the building and not taken seriously. This is what I mean. No one is at the table objecting to their settlement. Because Anna is pretending she's doing it for you. But God has been pleased to bless our people, you, our New Hampshire, land and soil and air and sea. We are in possession. He has been pleased to bless our endeavors. This body, to its credit, agreed unanimously to create the Committee of Research and authorized to serve the Assembly, and specifically for a expressed purpose to discover our provenances. Good news, the best of news. If we could not be better off, people, of all things possible, we could not be better situated. We are on the solid rock and the sure foundation. God Himself, people, is our standard. Do not trust in me, nor follow Paul, or any other man or woman. Are we not followers of one, and our standard to which we gather is common to us all? One. That is the Son, the heir, the King of kings. And His will must be done. And what is left undone, we must discover as the responsible party entrusted with the Father's business. If you are about something else, you are not having business in this assembly, because it's the people's business, and the people are His, my people. Remember, the Lord's portion is His people. That's the covenant. He gave us everything He had and everything He is. He gave it to us. Put it into the trust. It's yours. Even, look, read Hebrews. Made like unto the Son of God, made kings and priests. I guess that means any outward king and outward priest is a total fake, isn't it? And now we see how the twin sticks, the powers of the earth, have been administered as a separation of powers, which is a pattern after the order of Aaron. Do you not see the king and priest, two separation of powers, two separate institutions, a power sharing system between two, king and priest. And that order ended with the will of God in the Son. The will was ratified in blood on the death of the testator. See? And then you read Galatians 3:15 what that means. Because once the will is ratified, even if it's just the will of a man, no one can set it aside or annul it or add to it. So let's examine our trust. If you think Paul's being whatever, examine in whom is your trust. She has a blog, right? I have a blog, same blogger. Nobody looks at my blog that I know of out of the assembly. She does videos and teachings. I do videos and teachings on my YouTube. about these things, the very same things. I mean, except I'm telling the truth of the things that I'm discovering, and I show the truth, which she does neither, ever. Yeah, but no, the assembly is not compelled to check out Paul's updates or videos or blog. She has a website. I have a website. Facebook, I don't know for sure. I got 3 Facebooks. One's called Restoring Lawful Government of, by, for the People. So it's manifest, it's undeniable. To date, my words and works are not honored as authoritative and true relative to us, our assembly, our foundation even. You can't get a word in edgewise. Some people didn't even know the research committee existed. I am not honored if my words are not honored. And if my words are not given equal station and value as somebody else, then it is a given who is honored and who is trusted. The one that is looked to for the information. Like she said, she considers her job as the one who informs. So, at risk to letting her guess it right, which I didn't really think I had a worry, but I took the chance. I gave her the opportunity. If she's got the goods, give it. So I gave her the chance to inform me, okay, of our foundation. Because she is married to her origin story with her husband, the quote, hereditary head of state. She's married to it. How can she change it now, people? She can't. Every time I mentioned it, she writes another article about it. She doubles down. It's hilarious. I mean, she's buried herself, but she married her thing, and that's all she's got is her thing. So I gave her the chance. If she's the informer, that's a superior. That makes me the lesser if she's the one that informs me. And I gave her that chance. If she had the goods and she could tell the truth, she had the chance to inform me and make me the lesser, the one who is informed by the greater. Nevertheless, she did not. And so I did inform her. And there you go. I'm the one who informs. Now I'm informing you. You can still follow Anna, but you're not a part of using our provenances. Or you can just humble yourself and ask, what's going on? What's happened? How has this happened? What has happened? You probably won't believe it. Maybe there should be an impeachment just for the trial to educate the people. So this can never happen again. You do not place your trust in man. That is what children do, who've not yet learned to trust God alone. In him I place my trust, said the Father of the Son. Place your trust in him, said the Father to his sons. That's our express trust, people. Our fathers did a declaration and then a proclamation. And in between is the association. So we are fully endowed. We don't need Anna von Reitz or her husband's fairy tale. We don't need the imaginary busy little federation they got going on with Bubba and King James and all the other characters between the ages of 68 and 90. That's your federation if you choose to be entertained by it, but It's nothing to do with me, nothing to do with our union. So that's where she's at. So, but it's very simple there, And people, you can judge your own heart reaction to the things you're hearing. If there's offense and defense and uh, who does he think he is and blah, blah, blah. You'll know in your own heart. But you're rejecting the truth. The thing that you're rejecting and choking on right now, if you can accept that, is that you have so freely and easily accepted a lie and a fraud and a facade and a falsehood when every one of us should have known better. Every one of us had been, until that point in our lives, seeking and searching for the truth and getting free of corruption and lies and frauds, and we would press on, no? Yeah? And how is it that all of a sudden you find one woman and pitch your tent and say, I've arrived, this is it? And you open your heart to trust absolute. And without question, that is blind faith and misguided trust and just loyalty in the wrong place. That's so when I came out of her, I paid a good deal of money and time, expense, and time and resource to create to compile a record and hire an internationally renowned cult expert on cults, controversial groups, and movements. See, because I knew there was some monkey business going on when all these adults can't use common sense, can't use their cognitive abilities, can't use their mental faculties. They're just relieved of them because a woman said something. Yes. The definition of that, brethren, is a personality driven cult. That's what I benefited myself of. An expert opinion. An expert opinion. When I needed an impartial, objective third party to resolve a dispute between me and leadership, and it facilitated me with a 9-page report defining personality driven cult. She is naked. Her buddy Francis is naked. They bet everything that one word, Melchizedek, would never be grasped. And look at the lateness of the hour before God chose to restore the knowledge of the truth. And these railing, it's ours, people, specifically New Hampshire. You cannot even imagine how supremely we are blessed. I am a stone which the builders rejected, and now God has anointed me with the oil of gladness above my fellows. This is our lot, people. This is our heritage. I tell you, you just can't even, if you could see it, how I would love to share it, but not with this corrupt mess and facing us now. When that is swept away and the house is cleaned and set in order and we're focused on the right things, our addressed to us true treasure. But in the meantime, I've taken the action I have. Uh, it can't be undone. She does not speak for us, and they know it, and she knows it. So if she continues to go through the motions, she'll continue to be served notice of trespass, and it really doesn't matter. She's just a woman making a bunch of noise. Once everybody knows she doesn't speak for us, she's without standing and without authority, She's just insane or demon possessed, but don't pay any attention to her. Um, I don't care if she carries on. It's nothing to me. But she's done monkeying with my inheritance given me by the Son of God and my Father. So yeah, it is with great pleasure I tell her she's out and was never in to begin with. So I reminded her of what was true, that she was probably hoping to forget because she had done so well for so long with the mystical power of her crafty persuasion that any American would fall for a hereditary head of state. Good God, what has happened to my countrymen? I'm not beating you up. I'm telling you, God has honored us. God has, God has. I fell for it once. I told you I was in the church for 20 years. It wasn't until I was kicked out of her, and I have my walking papers, signed, sealed, delivered by the U.S. Parcel Post. That is under the UPU, kicked out of the church on earth, 501c3. See? But it was then that I could look back and see her for what she is. That is how I learned to recognize Anna when she came along. And I was not bashful about sharing it, though I was always bashed instantly and slandered. One of the, well, one of the worst things you can accuse me of was happily and quickly and thoughtlessly said at the first notion that I am not in agreement with Anna and I do not follow Anna. At best, she is a consultant if I seek her consultation. Other than that, she is nothing to me. She's nothing but a thorn in the side that I'm removing because it's the right thing to do. And I've waited as long as I could, and no one showed sign of wakening or turning, changing course. What does she say? She's steering this good ship of state. That's what she thinks she's doing, her and her little crew of geriatrics, Bubba and King James and Anna, the geriatric crew of the hereditary ship of state called Clinton Belcher. Belcher. I mean, I want to Ralph every time I hear her words come out of my brethren's mouths, thinking they're wise. She blew up our communications, people. At that time that we were having direct conversation, which is all on the record, I do nothing but in the light. Anything with me is on the record. So the emails, that's a record, obviously, can happily provide. But what's interesting is the research committee was born. As I was seeing, there's two different things here, people, and the two are not even kin. And she's made a muddied mess as if there's one thing. And her people, followers, are led to believe another thing, so they never look into what's right in front of their face. But if you see TASA is her fiduciary office linked to, for what is at the bottom. It isn't TASA at the bottom, people. Why is not one of you woken up to this? I even made a video about it and gave the link back when we had Mattermost, remember? The coordinator who follows her happily says that. I'm not attributing some evil to somebody. They were none of. I don't think anybody until now would be afraid to say I follow Anna and praise Anna, praise Anna, praise Anna. Well, so you were not privy to these conversations at that time, but we're going back and forth by email. I'm directly discovering from her either prove your claims with evidence. And at the same time, God Almighty is revealing his truths because of who we are in this union. It is impossible, people, to overstate the ramifications of a government claiming its foundation upon one thing, even one word, the gospel. My God, people, we took the kingdom. We felled the two with one swoop because they were practicing a fraud, a mutually endorsed fraud. See, after the old order, we saw that the scepter was vulnerable, unclaimed. So we grabbed it and we built the United States of America, a holy nation, a kingdom of priests, a royal house. Why is there no end to the government? The increase of our government shall know no end. You know why, people? Because God gives gifts to men. Unto us a child is born, unto us a son, that is an heir, is given. See? And after the order of Melchizedek, Revelation 3:5, he made us kings and priests. That is the two in one and given to each of us. So, in this nation, every time a child is born, a king, an heir is born. That is why the increase of our government knows no end. People, oh, the good news is ours. We are the light bearers. The torch has been passed to a new generation. Anyway, we're right in the middle of these conversations and communications back and forth when all of a sudden Mattermost is infiltrated. Got to destroy it. Yeah. The one who you trust, at the very point we are approaching wanting to come to order and present to the world, at that very moment of greatest potential warfare, she cuts your comms, blew them up, fully functioning, perfect, claiming it was infiltrated. And just at that time, the body had ordained, established, and was serving. She cuts the comms. The research was posted. All the links were on Mattermost and was sharing back and forth. A couple people were asking questions. I was sharing links with them. So it was up and running. And now some people had never even heard of it, didn't know. Think I have to create it again. See? That's because of the one you trusted. She blew it up. Right when we needed it most. Why? Because it was exposing her. How can you let your leader blow up your comms when you're out in the ready to confront the enemy? But not everybody raised a voice. They just found ways to apologize and make it make sense. Yeah, Anna knows best. Never look at what is she actually doing? Blowing up our communications. Right when we need them most. Ask any military what kind of leader does that? And that's all you need to do right there. Just go ask any, what kind of leader does that? And ask if that's the one you want to place your trust with your divine endowment, which is your responsibility if you are above age, full age. 21. If any of us are over 21, our trust belongs to in him, and his trust is in us. Woe to who hands that off to another and a wolf in sheep's clothing. So just at that time, she blows it up. Research committee is posting, revealing our findings, getting ready to call meetings for calls or whatever to present and have discussion. That's the point. You watch the video, we could pause it, but it shows the pages on the book that show our provenance, the name and title and style of our government, and the offices that we fill first and next and this, and our court, and authorizing each office, an officer, oaths. It's all there, people, right where nobody's looking, because Anna's sending us manuals with a bunch of words that are not ours. They're hers. So that's her thing. And if you want to help her build it, you're going to do it without our provenances, because we're entitled to build our house, assemble our body without uh, torment of mockers and traitors like her. So I believe Mattermost was infiltrated by truth that scared her, and she scrapped our communications and left us in the dust to figure it out for ourselves. I don't know the state of it. Maybe you guys already got some brilliant thing up and running and there's no lack. Good for you if that's the case. But there was a lot going on at that time that you're not privy to. Our provenance exposes her entire agenda, irrefutable, leaving her naked and without excuse and without defense. It was all a matter of trust. And it was all fully disclosed, people. Nobody can really be mad at her. She disclosed it right from the get-go. And it was blind trust, misplaced, that deceived you. Her agenda, what she has done, is evil against us. And the blind trust that she knows best, and even something as major as blowing up our communications, about to face our enemy. That was, everybody's good with it. It made sense. It was infiltrated. What? As if everything isn't spied on now. I mean, give me a break. Dumbest thing I ever heard. Everybody takes it. Good, good. We're good with that. Anna knows best. We don't need to think. So we've revoked even the appearance of prior power of attorney from all those former claimants, frauds, including the servant of His Holiness, a private attorney in service of His Holiness, Pope Francis. I was mentioning when asked of the coordinator about this, I hadn't found renounced. I was told no uncertain terms with strong confidence and indignance that I would even question her. But obviously that I was without excuse for not knowing that I was wrong, and she had done the very thing I claimed she had not. So, you know what the answer was? It's in the first article. Okay. Well, I dutifully went back because I know I had read the first article. But I looked and read it again. And there it was, very familiar. What she did in that article, renounce, and what she did not. So once again, the one leading this body, in word only, proved his own error, yet with strong confidence of rightness. Yet the blindness remains because the point I raised stands. See? Nobody's looked into any of it. 4 years. So that's long enough. Now, as far as her so-called public laws, if you think she could retroactively give herself standing by adding her state to our union from without, anything she has done is null and is impotent by fraud. I can give you, don't forget all of these things are on record. We can go back and listen to anything, any meeting. And you can pick apart her poison in every other word, if not every one. So the process of the public law, you'll hear again by the coordinator, is defined as this is handed down. This is public law handed down to us from the Federation. Again, we don't have disclosure on Federation, it's Anna and crew. But see, so that there again, this is child's play. This is not anything ever going to arise to public law status. It's child's play. Now, not only is it handed down from the Federation, but it's already executed, it's in effect. The assemblies are just being polled. We're just polling the assemblies, something that we've already done. So that proves right there that the thinking is backwards, and they do not know the process, how these things work, and that so therefore they know not what they do. See, but they were led to believe that it was true, that these were handed down in full effect and execution and ratification and blah blah, and it was just the assemblies are being polled now. Okay, so that's completely wrong and backwards, and the fact that they were led to believe that and accepted it and went through the motions on that basis is again just mocking child's play. They know not what they do, being led to believe. Nevertheless, that equals no agreement. That is in no wise qualify as applicable law to all or to any but the members of that organization. Anna's thing, TASA. Yeah, everything. It's all corruption. It's all corruption. It's all disgusting filth. And filthy rags, and it's out. That's the house cleaning. House cleaning is getting her garbage out of our house and her words out of our mouth and allegiance out of our heart to any but one. We have one king, and we have one anointed high priest, and we have one lawgiver and one God. And we have one law, common to all, but it's called royal law. See? Because we're the royal. We're the children of the sovereign God, the heirs of God, joint heirs with the Son. Do you see what unfolds, people, by the brilliance of claiming The foundation on one word opens to us all this. Now, people, you read that New Testament and you're in it. We are the covenant people. We are the peculiar people. We are the holy nation and royal priesthood and kingdom of priests. And this is our land, promised to our fathers, and we are in possession, undisputed possession of all our rights and freedoms, sovereignty and independence, and conscience and faith and worship. People, it does not get any better. It is perfect. Okay? But we have to look away unto Him, people. He is our standard. Remember, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. Not unto her, unto Him. And those twin sticks, remember. The scepter should not depart from Judah, or lawgiver from his feet, until Shiloh come. And unto Him shall be the gathering of His people. You see, there again is the standard in the ensign, our banner. Nisi, a banner. The Lord our banner. He is our banner. That is our flag, our ensign, our standard, which we rally to and we gather to. People, that is our standard. We are. He is in us. We are the people of the standard. We have a lot of responsibility, not only for our house being New Hampshire, but our place in our union. Okay? And that is for the world. These benefits of the gospel are for us to administer to the world. And in the 1783 proclamation, it expressed that, basically not acknowledging our great commission to bring peace to all nations and the glory of God to all the earth. All right, I love you, and talk to you soon. Anybody can call with questions. I will not tolerate dishonor anymore. I have a word that is not lesser. To Anna von writes, in fact, the opposite is true, and it's incalculably of greater value. Because it is the truth, it is our inheritance, and it is handed us because of the Father is pleased to reveal it. And for such a time as this, whosoever will, let them come. See, it is for you. You are named beneficiary. Should we each choose to accept this good news, this our origin story, back to Genesis, not the Anu, daughter of Hotep. Give me a break, people. That's enough for now. Godspeed.